Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into the essentials for handling personal injury claims, specifically here in Aurora, Colorado. If you're, suddenly dealing with medical bills, maybe lost time from work, all because someone else was negligent, well, we've synthesized a guide for you. It outlines your rights, but also, crucially, where the pitfalls are.
That's right. Our goal today is simple. Cut through the legal jargon. We want to synthesize the specific Colorado rules, those really critical deadlines you just can't miss, and basically what you, as an Aurora resident, need to understand to get past the stress of it all.
Okay, good. So let's start with the common scenarios here in Aurora. The sources point heavily towards, well, no surprise, car accidents, especially on those major routes like I-225, High-70, but also slip and falls, maybe at a busy place like the Stanley Marketplace or somewhere along Havana Street. Premises liability kicks in there.
Yeah, and for those car accidents, the big legal concept in Colorado is modified comparative negligence. What this means for you, practically speaking, is you can still recover money, even if you were partly at fault. The key thing, though, is your share of the fault has to be less than 50%.
Hang on, less than 50%. So let's say I was going maybe 5 miles over the speed limit, but the other guy ran a red light. If someone decides my speeding made me 50% or more responsible, I get nothing.
Exactly. That's strict cutoff. 49% fault, you can recover 51% of your damages. 50% fault, you recover zero. It sounds harsh, and it really underscores why proving the other party's fault clearly is so vital. Now, shifting gears slightly, another area the sources flagged is dog bites.
Ah, okay. How does that work here?
Colorado uses what's called a strict liability standard for dog bites. Generally, this means the dog's owner is responsible for the injuries their dog causes. It doesn't really matter if the dog had ever bitten anyone before or seemed perfectly friendly.
Okay, strict liability for dogs. Got it. But let's circle back to that fault issue and just timing in general. If figuring out that percentage is so critical, how long do you actually have?
Right. The clock is always ticking, and time, well, it really is money in these cases. Generally, the statute of limitations for most personal injury lawsuits in Colorado is 2 years. 2 years from the date the injury happened. That's your main window. But, and this is the part that gets really interesting and frankly dangerous for claimants. If your injury happened because of a government entity, think a fall on a poorly maintained city sidewalk in Aurora or an issue with a city vehicle, you might have as little as 180 days, just 6 months.
Whoa, 180 days.
Yes, 180 days to file a formal notice of claim. Not even the full lawsuit, just the notice. If you miss that deadline, your claim against the government entity is just gone permanently. It's an absolute bar.
Okay, that 180-day rule sounds absolutely non-negotiable. Fast action is key. So assuming someone meets these deadlines, what kind of damages can they actually recover in Colorado, beyond the obvious medical bills and lost paychecks?
The law allows for a pretty broad range. Obviously, yes, medical expenses past and future. Lost wages, also past and future. Damage to your property like your car. But it also recognizes things like pain and suffering, emotional distress, and something called loss of enjoyment of life. That covers not being able to do the hobbies or activities you loved before the injury.
And punitive damages to punish the other party?
Those are possible, but they're capped in Colorado. And usually you only see them if there was really egregious behavior like drunk driving or intentional harm, not typical negligence cases.
Okay, so someone's just been injured. What are the immediate, first things they absolutely must do? Our sources really hammered a few key points. 1, get medical help right away, for your health, obviously, but also to document the injury.
Critical.
2, document everything else. Photos of the scene, the vehicles, your injuries, get names and numbers of any witnesses. And 3, this one's huge. Don't give a recorded statement to the other party's insurance adjuster right away.
Please don't. They are trained professionals whose job is, frankly, to pay out as little as possible. They can twist your words. Wait until you've at least consulted with someone.
Makes sense. So connecting this locally, is there really an advantage to having an Aurora-based lawyer versus some big national firm?
Oh, absolutely. A big one. Think about it. Local attorneys, they know the Arapahoe County courts. They know the judge's tendencies, maybe even the local jury pool's attitudes. They know exactly how to quickly get police reports from the Aurora PD, which isn't always straightforward. And they often know which local doctors are experienced in treating and documenting injuries for these kinds of cases. It just levels the playing field.
Right. That local insight seems invaluable. So the process typically goes investigation, then trying to negotiate a settlement, and only going to court if needed.
Exactly. Investigation, gathering evidence, figuring out damages, then usually a demand to the insurance company, followed by negotiation. The vast majority, I mean, a huge percentage of these cases, they do settle before ever seeing a courtroom. Litigation is expensive and uncertain for everyone. All of this discussion about deadlines and evidence, it really brings up a critical point for you, the listener in Aurora. Given how tight some deadlines are, especially that 180-day government notice, and how skilled insurance adjusters are, what do you think is the single most vital piece of proof besides your medical records that you need to secure immediately, like right after an accident happens, to protect your claim? Something that might vanish if you wait even a day or two.
That's a really potent question. It definitely highlights the need for immediate, thorough action, especially with that government claim deadline looming, something for everyone to consider carefully.